Hello, guys. Travis here, and I am with VTM.
Hi.
He's so excited. And we're a little late. We know. It's almost the end of January. But we have to tell you our lists for the worst games, the worst pieces of shit, at least in our mind, of 2020. Got anything to say, VTM?
Yeah, we're late because I lost my hate. It was a shame. It was like when Shawn Michaels lost his smile.
This is the kind of content you come here for, folks. But But without further ado, these are, well, I am doing a top 10, VTM's doing top 5, so
I refuse to play shitty games, so
I'll be going from 10 to 6. VTM will jump in at 5, and then so that's how that'll go. But without further ado, these are our top 10 and top 5 worst games of 2020. My number 10 is Kakarot, a game that has had a ton of potential because of who was making it. The Naruto Ninja Storm games, really good games by all intents and purposes. That is what I've been told by lots of people, being someone who hasn't played them. But I went into Kakarot with hope, right? And there are some nice cutscenes there, right? It's not the worst pile of garbage I've ever played. It's not even really a pile of garbage. It's competent. But I think when it's competent, it only carries it so far when you're just playing this Dragon Ball Z story again. And I think that really pushes it down a lot. We're tired. A lot of people are tired of playing the same story over and over and over again. You have Super there for the taking, and you didn't take that. You just kind of been, we're going to tell Z over again. And if they do a Super game, I'm way more excited for a Super game like this than I am for a Dragon Ball Z game about this, because it's just been done to death. Beyond that, it does begin to bog down as the game goes on, because the Frieza arc is really good. I thought we were on our way to something special, and then after that, it kind of declines. It declines a lot, whether it was leaving out a lot of scenes, whether it was just making the game overall not really that exciting. It just feels like they either ran out of money, ran out of ideas, or something. I don't know what happened there. All I know is that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, a game with a ton of potential, didn't live up to that potential, was held back by multiple things. But I do think this is a good direction. I think this is a good direction for them. They just need to figure something out, whether it's doing Super like this, whether it's just telling a new story, something to switch it up, because I am done. This is my vow. I'm done. I'm done with playing games about Dragon Ball Z. There's so many games we can go and play if we were going to do that. So I'm done doing that. I'm done with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot games. Please, for the love of God, move forward. Please. That's all I ask, damn it. So because of all these things and everything like that, that is why Dragon Ball Z Kakarot is number 10. My number 9 is Predator Hunting Grounds. The next game in the series of, I guess, horror games by Ilphonics, who also made the Friday the 13th game. And this game suffered from the same things that game did, even though I enjoyed Friday the 13th more than this game. But it suffered from that same thing of there's not much to do. You're paying, not full price, but I think it was like a $40 game, something like that, to really play the same thing a few times and not really have much to do. It is not like your normal multiplayer game where you can play it forever and ever and ever. It gets boring quick, really quick. And so I tried to make some fun of it, but and it was fun at first, but once you realize there is nothing else, then there's nothing else. This is kind of a trend with this company. You know, they keep taking these horror licenses and they do the bare minimum, it feels like. It doesn't visually look terrible. It visually looks good, but it doesn't really meet any kind of standard. It just kind of exists. And until I was looking through my games, I forgot it exists. I forgot it existed. Like, it is the most forgettable game I've played all year. Most games, even terrible games, leave an impact, but Predator Hunting Grounds is the most forgettable game I've played all year. And hopefully if this company makes another horror-type multiplayer game, they put more time and effort into it instead of doing the bare minimum, getting it out, and then players playing it a few games and realize, guess what, there's nothing else, and it doesn't really get more exciting, it doesn't get fun, it gets more and more boring as it goes along. So that is why Predator Hunting Grounds is number 9. My number 8 is Marvel's Avengers, a game that I was super excited for. The A-Day trailer looked fantastic. I was just so hyped for this game, but then as I saw more and more, I started to worry a little bit that it seemed like you were getting the same enemies over and over again, and it could be that dreaded repetitive feeling to it, which I don't really find a lot of games, because every game has a repetitive nature to it. So you can call every game repetitive. So it has to really be really boring for me to call it repetitive. And this game reached that level. This game became so repetitively boring that I just had to push myself to get through it, because you're fighting the same enemies over and over and over again. Every mission feels like a side mission, horde mission, instead of a story mission. Yes, there's some nice scenes here and there, but it's not enough to really hold this game up. It's not good. Like Crystal Dynamics, who made the Tomb Raider games, and Eidos Montreal, who made the Deus Ex games, they are better than this. They are better than the game that got put out. They are better than a looter shooter for an Avengers game. That's not what the Avengers are. The Avengers should never be a looter shooter. I don't know what Square Enix was thinking. I don't know what they were thinking. They're trying to release new content. Who cares? The game was dead. We predicted that the game would be dead before Spider-Man even came out, and the game was dead not even long after the game came out. We didn't even have to get close to that. This game, it didn't even have potential, but the idea had so much potential that they just drove it into the ground and killed it. And now any future game that they put out for Avengers, I'm not excited for. I'm not excited for a looter shooter if you're going to do it like this. Nobody wants to play an Avengers game for a half-ass fucking story just so you can do a looter shooter and gouge us out of different characters and shit over time. That's not why we play Avengers. We want good fucking stories, and that's what pisses me off. That's what pissed a lot of other people off about Avengers. It's the fact that we were excited about this game, and they just shit it down our fucking throats and said, here you go, here's a fucking looter shooter. So that is why it's number 8. This one pisses me off more than some of the games that are higher, but it's not as bad of a game as some of the games that are higher. It's just so annoying that they would do this to the Avengers. I don't have much else to say, just be better. My number 7 is Paper Mario: The Origami King, a game that is about 2 times longer than it should be, a game that is so boring, a game that has great concepts and great visuals, but it doesn't live up to that because everything in between those boss fights, those visuals, is boring. But then don't even get me started on the boss fights that are boring in their own right. They're visually great, like I said, but they're boring in their own right because of what they make you do boss fight wise. You know, these little wheels you have to go around. It makes even that aspect of the game, these cool visual bosses, it makes them boring. It makes them mind-numbing. It makes it so hard to get through without wanting to rip your eyeballs out of your skull. And I never thought I would say that about a Mario game, whether Paper Mario or normal Mario. But this game was obviously not for me. And I know it's a kid's game, but I don't even know. I don't even know if a kid could find this fun. It's so boring. It's one of the most boring games I have played in a long time. It hurt to get through it. If I didn't stream it and have people there to talk to, I would have never got through it. There is no way. This game, they should have cut the length of the game in half. They should have had their turn-based combat instead of whatever the fuck this line them up in normal combat and then take them out with weird moves, or this boss fight thing where you have to maneuver your way to the boss. It's so stupid, and I hope if the next time they make a Paper Mario game, they revert back, because I will lose my shit if they do the exact same combat system in the next Paper Mario game. But that being said, I know they can do better, and I hope they can do better. I believe in Nintendo. I believe in them to be able to do good with the Mario license. So here is to hoping that they're able to figure it out. My number 6 is Tell Me Why. A game that I know that there are a decent amount of people that did enjoy, but it just was not for me. I didn't find it entertaining. I didn't find the puzzles good. I didn't find the stories good. I'm always for inclusion in games, and for that I appreciated it, but there has to be more to it than that. And I feel like this game could have been, like a lot of other games on this list, so much more. Just so much more to it. And it feels like Don and Old, or how you pronounce their name, just don't get it. I feel like since the first Life is Strange, they've kind of just been putting games out, and most of them are not good. They're just shoving them out, and it's kind of becoming a Telltale situation in my head, where it's kind of like Telltale started shoving out game after game after game after game until it started catching up to them, and all of a sudden, guess what? Their company shut down because the quality of the game was declining and the interests in the games were declining. And I feel like the same thing could happen here. Now, they also released another game, Twin Mirror, which I wasn't able to play, but I didn't hear good things about that game either. They need to pull it together and do something before something bad happens to their company, because that can happen. You release a game after game after game that's not that good, and eventually your company will start to suffer. And I don't want to see this from them. I think there's potential in their games. There's potential in this game. I just don't think it lived up on it. There has to be more to it than this. The story is nonsensical. The way they go about things is nonsensical. The characters are unlikable. The story's not good. I probably said that before. My point is, everything about this game has issues, to the point that when I got to the third episode, I just didn't care anymore. I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care what happened to them. I didn't care, and that shouldn't happen when it's a kind of like a character-driven story. That shouldn't happen. You should care about your characters, but in the end, I didn't care. I didn't care about the puzzles. I didn't care about the story. I didn't care about where these characters ended up. I just didn't care. And I guess that's the theme of the story, is the game made me not care about the characters when I really should have. I really should have cared about these characters. But the way they went about them, the way they portrayed them, it just made them come off as whiny, unlikable, and I couldn't really connect with them at all. And that is why Tell Me Why is number 6.
All right, guys. My number 5 is Kakarot, because that game actually came out in 2020, and I kind of forgot it. The reason it's my number 5 is because it was a game that a lot of YouTubers were hyping up, and I started feeding into the hype, and once you get down and play it, it's the same story. Like, it's the same story with no real imagination. Like, there are a couple of side quests that are cool, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. It's a waste of time, and I felt like it should have been better, especially given all this time that, like, Super's been out, and, like, even the original Dragon Ball story and GT. Like, there's so much that they could have pulled. But yeah, that's why Kakarot's my number 5. Can't wait to hear what Travis has.
My number 5 is VTM's favorite game, My Hero 1 Justice 2. This game is a sequel to, obviously, My Hero 1 Justice 1, and it is basically the same game, as VTM has called it on multiple occasions. It's basically a DLC of the first game. The issue is they put a 2 on the end of it, and they charge full price. So they treated this game like it's a sequel, but it's basically the exact same game with a villain storyline and a hero storyline. So they had 2 storylines there. There was elements that could work, but just the way they went about it, it was very samey. Not enough was done for that to be a full price game, but they did it anyway because Bandai. I'm not done with Bandai, but yeah, the game just was not worth it. It definitely wasn't full price. I still think it's even close to full price. But yeah, My Hero's 1 Justice 2, as a huge My Hero fan, just inexcusable. And hopefully, I'm wishful thinking that if they make another one, they do a much better job. But yeah, My Hero's 1 Justice 2 is number 5.
All right, guys, I'm back with my number 4, and my number 4 worst game of 2020 is Watch Dogs 3 Legion, whatever. Listen, this is the third game of a series that has not really been good, and I think it's time that they call it quits because this game is a bunch of nothingness. Like, they try to act woke, but really they're going broke. They have witty banter, but it's not good. The story is subpar at best. It's actually the same story as the second game. And I got confused in it because they refer to someone as Zero Day. And Zero Day is from the second game. So they pretty much just copy and paste the second game. Just you get to play different characters that they don't even change the story. It changes if they call you a he or a she. That's it. But yeah, that's my number 4.
My number 4 is Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid saga continues. This game is a barrel of nothing. It's like a side scroller beat 'em up game. It's very, very cheap, very movie license, but in this instance, TV show license type of game. There's really not much to say about it. I think I played it for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I was just kind of done. I was kind of done with it at that point because it was just the same. It was just the same repetitive shit over and over. You know, oh, you go break some boxes, then you get some health, and then you go punch some other people for a while, and then maybe you can kick a chair at them, and it's just a bunch of nothing. Luckily, I don't think it was a full price game, but even at that, you can tell that they were trying to cash grab off the popularity of Cobra Kai, and it's not shocking by any means, but it's just not good. One of the most boring games I've played all year by far. But yeah, my number 4, Cobra Kai.
Hey guys, we're back with number 3. And guess what? Me and Travis actually agree on this one. Our number 3 is One Punch Man.
Garbage.
A hero nobody knows.
A game nobody wants.
Yeah, a game nobody wants. Holy shit. Can you believe it? We finally got One Punch Man after 2 seasons of awesomeness. And this game's garbage.
Mm-hmm. So many horse heads.
So many horse heads. Horses everywhere. Beating a dead horse. Horsing around. Horse jokes. Horse-a-palooza. Yeah.
So basically, this game had one of the most pointless character creations I've ever seen. It just existed as like this, like you were just this character. Like, oh, here, make a character so you could be this character until Saitama shows up to one punch somebody. But it's so like repetitive.
You literally become the new Genos.
Yeah, it's so repetitive, and you're no Genos.
Yeah. You're not even cool like him.
It's so repetitive. It's so boring. And there's a theme on this worst games list. It's just these games are just so boring.
Boring for games that should have been kind of hype, except for Watch Dogs.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if I was hype. You know, I kind of saw the trailers coming in, and I was like, this doesn't look good, but I give the games the benefit of the doubt. I give every game a chance, and this game lived up to that trailer.
Yeah. I did not see any of the trailers. I just knew that there was a One Punch Man game coming out. I was like, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it's by Bandai.
They basically they have the Xenoverse hub world, and they were like, let's just do One Punch Man with that hub world. And then you can have your creative character run around and do nothing, and then you can meet some characters from the anime, and then you just basically play through the story from the anime, which would be fucking fine if the game was fucking good.
Yeah, the game is garbage. It has non-con. It's very button mashy. It's arcadey, kind of like My Hero. It's just easy combos, nothing complex. It's not a fighters.
Yeah, and I would claim, and that's why I have My Hero higher, or well, not higher, but lower on the list. That One Punch Man, My Hero is more entertaining than One Punch Man is.
Yeah,
Because at
at
least you
least
have the
My
villain
Hero
story.
has cutscenes.
Yeah, and you have the villain story and the hero story, which kind of makes it a little different. It knows what it is, while One Punch Man doesn't seem like it knows what it is. It doesn't know what it wants to be. So that is why One Punch Man, that piece of shit, is number 3.
Hey guys, I'm here with my number 2. My number 2, I'm just gonna get straight to the point. It's Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, listen, some of you might like this game. I don't care. I didn't like it because they dropped a lot of the core mechanics from Odyssey and they made this game. It's like two completely different teams worked on these games. It's such a downgrade, and the story is just a generic Creed story where, like, even in game with the quest and all that, like, it's not as engaging as Odyssey. It's not as well thought out, and that's pretty much how I feel about it. Like, the story is very disappointing to me. It's just, I saw that coming. Whatever. But yeah, that's my number 2.
Oh boy. My number 2 is Fast and Furious. I hate it. It was hilarious, but I hate it. Some of the worst physics I've ever seen in a game. You're crashing through cars like they're tin cans. The story is just nonsensical as all fuck, to the point where I'm just laughing so hard. The random cuts that happened in the game. There was some hilarious glitches, but the random cuts where you're like in one place and they're having a conversation, all of a sudden you're in a completely different fucking scene out of nowhere. You're like, I don't know how the fuck I got here. This game is like I said on my review of the game, clearly trying to take just the fans of Fast and the Furious, that money grab them, and because if this was successful, which it wasn't, thank God, they would keep making these stupid games trying to milk the license, because that's basically what this is doing, because it looks awful, it feels awful. They didn't put any time and effort into it. There's rockets driving down the road in a straight line. I don't know why, but they are. It's just nonsensical bullshit. One of the worst games I've played all year, obviously, and that's why it's number 2. What
about the multiplayer?
Fuck that multiplayer. Nobody was playing it. I actually tried to play it day 1, or at least day 2, and it was already gone. There was no one playing the multiplayer. The multiplayer was dead on arrival, just like the game was. Fuck this game. Fuck this game. 2 out of 10. Number 2 on my list. We're moving on. Fuck this game.
Now, guys, I'm coming to you as a human being. Imagine in a world where it takes almost 10 years to build a movie franchise. We've all seen all 100 movies of it. We just saw the ending of a climactic saga. And then they announce a game for it. And this game is hyped up for years. And then they release at least 20 minutes of the game. And it doesn't look that good. But you're like, whatever. And then you play that game. and it was completely spoiled, and then there's nothing else more to it. Well, that's my number one, because my number one is Avengers. That game is garbage. They literally spoil their beginning section, and the rest of the game is told through the eyes of Kamala Khan, who is a shittier Miles Morales that no one asked for. And yeah, like, the gameplay is mobile game quality. Like, I could play a game on my phone right now that has better controls than this game. And yeah, like, the story isn't that good. It gets good near the end, but even then, it's a big stretch. The gameplay is very nothing. Very much the same. I'm not sure how it was playing with friends. I'm pretty sure it was fun, but I don't have friends. So I played it by myself. And playing by yourself, there are some things that are locked off to you because you decide to not play a certain character. And the end game is terrible because really the whole game locks you out of missions unless your gear strength is high enough. It's not what level you are, it's what your gear looks like. And then the microtransactions. Microtransactions are god awful. And they're still awful. And they've released DLC, free DLC. I hear it's pretty good. I don't really care because I'm not touching that game again. Because it's my number one worst game of the year.
So my number one is, I talk about this, it's going to be a lot, I have a lot less to say about it than VTM had to say about his number one, because this game gave The Quiet Man a run for its fucking money. It was the most broken, garbage, hide and seek, terrible graphics, nonsensical, doesn't make any fucking sense. That's why it's nonsensical bullshit I've ever seen. Remothered Broken Porcelain is my number one. One of the worst games, I don't know about ever made, because there's some pile of shit out there, but one of the worst games I've ever played. It's right up there with The Quiet Man. I may not take it, because at least this game had fucking sound, but it was one of the worst games. The villains, who fucking cares? The gameplay, the fucking worst. The fucking worst. You know how people bitched about Outlast 2 and how much you had to run away from things in Outlast 2? Try adding that into this game, except it's way less fun, it's not scary, and it's fucking garbage. It's the same repetitive gameplay over and over again with slight variations. There's so many glitches in this game. So many glitches. You have the one that sticks out in my head is the one where I was standing about 5 or 10 feet from a guy and he was just shooting at me from close range and he didn't hit me for like 10 minutes. And it's like, what the fuck is this game? One of the worst piles of garbage ever, especially when the first game was apparently, I never played it, the first game was apparently a pretty good game. Like a 7 out of 10 kind of game, really good. And you just see how they just put no effort into this game. You didn't have to play the first game to realize that they put no effort into this game. I don't know what the fuck happened. It's almost inexcusable. But yeah, Remothered Broken Porcelain deserves to be number one. It is number one. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I hope if they make another game that it's better, but I highly, I mean, if this is the kind of effort they put into this, I highly doubt it. Like, I don't know, I don't know. This company lost all faith with me. I never played the first game, but I don't fucking want to either after this. But yeah, that is my number one, and that is my top 10 and VTM's top 5 worst games.
Wait.
Go ahead. What?
Wait. I'm making the hill turn. Fuck it. Bandai, I'm coming at you. You keep releasing shitty games and we keep buying it. Why? Why you do this to us? You give us promises of great games like Kakarot and One Punch Man and My Hero and
Fast and Furious,
whatever soccer game and Fast and Furious and Code Vein and
and Twin Mirrors too. We didn't even fucking play it, but we've heard things.
Yeah,
we're watching you, Bandai.
All these games, garbage, and we keep buying them. I'm done. I'm tired of it.
But we're gonna
I'm
keep
coming
buying
for
them.
you next.
But we're gonna keep buying them because we're dumb.
Fuck Bandai. At the end of the day, this list boils down to fuck Bandai. I say it every review. Fuck Bandai. You people need to start listening. I'm coming from the future.
Yeah, you gotta do better, Bandai. We don't give this bullshit where it's like, oh, we get to play as our favorite characters. It doesn't matter because your games are garbage, and that's
Like
just
Bandai is
how
consistently shit.
Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't be three of my top 5 games. You just shouldn't. Be better, Bandai. Be better. All the companies on this list, just fucking be better.
You too, Ubisoft. You're up there. I see what you did.
I got nothing on that one. That's a VTM hate. But anyway,
Jesus.
That is going to do it for our VTM's top 5, my top 10. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry about it being so late. The end of last year was crazy. Hopefully at the end of
2020.
Hopefully
we're all about that 2021.
Hopefully at the end of 2021 we're able to get it out quicker, but worry about that then. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye guys.
Bye.